Hello, everyone, to the second episode of the podcast and my first collab. So, I'm going to be collabing with another YouTuber and artist called CARRITUBE. So, for this podcast, we're going to be talking about our experiences working as artists, having a self employed lifestyle, and maybe experiences working in the industry. So, if you're interested in that, keep on listening. As for the video portion of this, I will be drawing a piece that we both collabed on. So we sketched our OCs together, and then after we finished the sketching phase, we switched canvases and we finished each other's pieces. So there's going to be a point where I'm no longer working on my own sketch and I'll be working and finishing Carrie's sketch. So that's going to be fun to see, and it was definitely fun to work on. And on her channel, we're going to be talking about our lives as art students and how our experiences with school and art are related and how they are different. So if you're interested in that, also go check out Carrie's video. And without further ado, let's get into the podcast.
Okay. Hi guys. I'm Carrie. I'm awkward, and I look up to Ayub's, and I was like, I really like her work. And my friend was like, "Oh, you should say something. Reach out to her." And then I impulsively said, "You know what? Let's just collab. We're a similar level. We're similar age." And then we really clicked, and I was like, "You know what? Let's draw our characters together."
And
that
now
brings
here
us
we
to
are.
today's video.
So secondly, both of us are self-employed. How do you feel about like the self-employed lifestyle? Like, do you think it's something that you would suggest to like other artists?
I'm so nervous.
It's fine. It's fine.
The self-employed lifestyle, if I would recommend it to other artists, I think that's a difficult question to like just largely recommend to other people. I think it depends on people's life life.
Well, I guess like how do you think it like vibes with you? Like, do you like the lifestyle, or were there like struggles in the beginning, or do you think like this is something you'll be doing for like the majority of your life?
Oh, I love it. I love working for myself. I love working on per project basis. I love choosing when I work, when I don't work. I love that how much money I make is based on me, not what other people are telling me. Like I could take a day off and be okay, but then I can also just spend a whole day or a week just working back to back. I like that so much better than getting that same amount of stress from a 9 to 5. I'm a little bit different than other artists where I've been in freelancing all of my life. At first I didn't like it at all. I didn't like the inconsistent
Really?
pay. Yeah, I
Oh,
didn't like the inconsistent
yeah.
pay. I didn't like I have to make contracts. Contracts are part of this game. They were very daunting. I was really bad at time management and project management, so I sucked at fulfilling and talking to clients. So it made me super anxious.
Have
But
you worked for like a company before?
yeah, I hated it so much that I tried to get a
Oh,
full-time job. A full-time job, just basically doing the same thing, but uh, doing the same thing for a company because I like the stability of a paycheck. I like that I only had one person to go to. But then I still experienced a lot of headache. I didn't have a lot of control. I worked in marketing for my full-time job, and I didn't have a lot of say, but then I would also get blamed for when things weren't performing
oh.
properly.
So you went back to being self-employed?
Yeah, because I'm like, at this point, I might as well get 50 different video clients, and I get more control over how each campaign goes. And I think that's why now I'm doing a little bit better in brand deals since I did that in corporate. Even though I am an artist, I still mostly do video stuff. I'm just now starting to monetize off of just my art.
Yeah, like for me, I've also been in freelance basically my entire life, but unlike you, I've never worked for a company, and that's why I ask that, because like I don't really have kind of something to compare to. but like you have like experiences with a company and also being self-employed and being your own boss, but like I only have experiences being my own boss, and I honestly don't know if I could ever like work under a company. I
Oh,
mean, like,
there's so
um
much restraints.
yeah, it sounds like a lot more stressful in a like a different type of way than being self-employed.
Oh yeah, especially during the holiday season. And granted, I've worked in all types of job. I've worked in retail, I've worked in customer service during the holiday season. But in marketing, where you're doing social media and video stuff on the other end, because I was the one reaching out to influencer, it's a lot more stressful. I was also managing an overseas team, and even though no matter how much my department has their stuff together, I would still get blamed for a lot of things for not meeting certain quota. And when you're not in control of the whole company, you can't control the whole department, especially when it's really hard to reach the main guy that needs to be approved off of everything. So on
So
the
like as an artist, do you kind of have like a way that you do things like, okay, like today I need to draw this and tomorrow I'm going to draw this, or like this month I need to finish this amount of drawings? Like, is that how you manage yourself as a self-employed artist, or do you kind of just like go with the flow?
I don't have a full through answer. I'm trying to get it all together, but for the most part, I have everything managed on Notion. Majority of my freelance stuff is mostly brand deals and just working with brands and creating stuff I basically did in my day job. But since it's more about everyday tools that I use, it's a little bit easier. I have everything on a Notion spread list, and I'm mostly doing emails most of the time. And for video stuff, I mostly do a lot of like product unboxings. So it's just me making a checklist that, oh, I've recorded the unboxing. I need to test out the drivers. And then when it comes to the drawing part, I normally have everything on Pinterest and I try to pick things that are topical. A lot of the time, I'm on TikTok trying to figure out what is trending at the time. Because I notice when I draw fan arts and my uh, drawing reviews, they tend to perform much better.
Oh, true, because there's like already a niche for that audience.
Yeah.
But I guess like since we're on the topic of choosing art and you mentioned TikTok and Pinterest, like how do you think being an artist on social media like has affected your art? So I guess like being on TikTok and seeing trends, do you feel like it really like influences you on what to draw? Like, do you feel the need that you have to draw fan art, or is it because you want to draw fan art like for your videos?
Uh, it's more, a lot of the times it does feel like I'm keeping up with the trends. Uh, Sometimes it could feel overwhelming, but I'm trying
Yeah.
to switch that internal dialogue, because fan art is also a way to connect with people. Because social media is not, it's not always about what you create. It's always about the emotional connection you leave on people. I tend to do fan art because it's a way to talk to people about their favorite characters. And but I do agree that it makes making art like you're just a machine.
Yeah,
There's
it's kind of like the social media mindset kind of for
you always
artists.
gotta keep feeding it, and I'm trying to get out of that this year, and because then it makes the art feel really really soulless. And also that's a great area too, because I sell a lot of fan arts at conventions, and when I've been trying to set that up online, it's been a different it's a gray area because you're not allowed to sell fan art. I posted
Oh,
one of
true.
I posted one of my fan arts of Anya on Etsy, and it got taken down immediately.
Really?
Yeah, and that drawing it makes the most of my income. No, they took
I thought that they were a bit more lenient on it. I thought that they
they're like
like
copyright infringement. So you got to be
I
really
really?
careful. You got to
Okay.
be really careful. Like Genshin is good, but depending on the company, no matter how lenient the company
Yeah.
is, they can easily just change management one day and
Like I don't
decide to go
think
after you.
yeah, I don't think like Nintendo has time to like take down every artist's fan art on Etsy. There's just too much.
It
Yeah.
really depends on who's that day, man. That's why
I've
I
seen like Percy Jackson stuff, Pokemon stuff, like everywhere.
yeah, that's why like I really admire that you have your OCs, you have your whole lore with them because fan art, you're fighting a legal battle. You're on
Yeah,
like
like
rented land.
honestly, it was really worrying because when I first started my shop, I kind of like I was thinking like, oh, no one's gonna buy prints of like my characters, so I kind of felt the need to do fan art, and it turned out to be like the other way around. Like the OCs do better, and it's just like went into my favor.
OCs are wonderful. They're
Oh
bright,
my
they're
god, thank you.
different. You're always posting about them because the thing about I learned with your own stuff, you gotta always be marketing them the same way that like brands are always popping ads of their stuff all the time. You gotta constantly be talking about your OCs. You always gotta be constantly talking about them. And
The crazy thing is though, like I feel like I was surprised that people knew them by name because I actually felt like I didn't really talk about them a lot. And so it was like it made me feel really good to know that people know them by name, even though sometimes like in a post I didn't even mention their names and people mention them by name.
oh,
It's
that's
just
so cool. You have some diehard
wow.
fans of your
Apparently
character. That's
yeah,
an
like
artist's dream.
so
See,
like since we're on the topic of OCs, do you think that you would ever like plan on building up any of like your characters, like this pink hair girl, you know?
that's something I'm gonna definitely focus more on this year. But I think that's because I've been getting closer to my goal of financial security, where I'm not scared by month to month as much since I've been
Oh
able.
yeah.
I have a little bit more leeway.
Yeah, I definitely drew my OCs less when I still had to depend on commission.
Yeah, because you gotta do the work that pays the
Basically.
bill. That's why, like, I worked so hard at the beginning of our collab. That's why beginning of that because it was around November. November is the main time for this is the beginning of the holiday season, so that's when there a lot of ads uh, get made and get sent out. That's when I think that's the most time where the influencer marketing goes high, and also December. So I did a lot of work then that's gonna sustain me for the next couple of months that I'm able to just relax a little bit.
Yeah, like draw your OC more.
Yeah, to try more because I didn't even draw her in different outfits for this collab. When you said, "Oh, what type of outfits is she wearing?" I didn't have anything. I never had enough time, and it's at first it was just of OC based on of me in a way, but now it's more of like a dear girl VTuber. But since now I have a little bit more free time, I'm not working as much hours as much anymore. I've been taking a bit more break since it was the
Yeah, that's
holiday
good.
season, so that way I could think more, so I could open up other revenue streams and open up my shop. And I think I want to get out of the fan art land because I don't imagine most of your income is on that, and then it's just gone with the cease and
Yeah,
desist.
it's kind of scary like how it could all be gone. Or it's like what if you lose interest in that fan art or that fandom and all of a sudden you kind of lost like a chunk of your audience, you know? And
Yeah.
I feel like I've seen other like artists who are in a fan art niche struggle with it too. Like let's say one artist is known mainly for drawing Genshin fan art and that's how they built up their audience. But then they decide they want to draw fan art of some other thing or their
Oh,
own
you get
original
stuck. Oh
characters.
man.
Yeah, and there's just not that much attention when it comes to original content for them because their audience is only interested in Genshin stuff, and so it becomes difficult for them.
Yeah,
And
you kind of tunnel
yeah,
yourself. So I guess no matter what, you gotta diversify your income. You gotta
yeah. So
diversify
it's
what you
like it's
do.
really good that you've been like drawing your OC more. It's like yeah,
But all I have is just one, and I feel like
but
it's
it
just
doesn't.
like a
It does,
persona.
I mean,
It's more of a persona than an OC. I don't have any lore
but
for her.
personas can be OCs. OCs don't have to have stories and lores. They could literally just be a character that you draw. Like there's not too much that goes into an
Okay,
OC.
I thought
Like
that they need to have because
no.
I thought I thought that's what makes people connect to them because people are always talking about on Twitter, what are some traumas have you given to your OCs today?
I mean, I feel like the majority of people who have OCs do have lore, but it's not like a requirement. I mean, most characters start out just being like they just start drawing them because they like how it looks. And a few of my characters actually were just like haphazardly designed on stream with the chat. And then one time I ended up really liking how one of them looks, and then I just turned her into an OC. And
Oh.
I guess my definition of like an OC is just deciding, okay, this is just gonna be a character that I can like regularly draw every now and then. They don't have to have a name, even they don't have to have a story. It could just be a design that you really like to draw. And I feel like people connect to even just appearances and designs. They don't have to connect to like the character's trauma.
Deep lore. Okay, I really
Yeah.
that helps me out a lot because I thought that I need to have deep lore, all that things. But part of me is because I want to be an animator. I wanna any
Yeah.
character I make, I wanna bring to life in some form. So I always felt the need for them to have such backgrounds. But thank you for that explanation. I really sometimes I feel like I'm out of touch with the own community. I just so I
No,
really appreciate
there's
it.
just no requirements for an OC. Um, like I don't think I've even really talked about the story of my characters that much. I've really only just talked about like their personalities. And honestly, I feel like the main thing that draws people to my character Sydney is not even like her story or her name. Before I created her main outfit that like we worked on in this collab, it was people just liked the fact that she had blue in her hair, like blue ends.
I
And
love that
because
too because I don't really
yeah,
see
and
that.
and I feel like with your character, it's like really nice to see like a dark skinned character with pink hair and being cute, because some people have voiced out that it's kind of like rare to see like a soft black girl, I guess, because they're heavily stereotyped into being other. And I feel like I could see that a lot of people are really drawn to your character because they feel like it is filling up this like appearance that is not often seen.
Oh, it's really I didn't think about that perspective before. I just I guess I wanted to represent something because I wanted like a more confident version of myself to represent me because I've been so anxious these years. But that's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
And one thing I want to say about your character Sydney is that I like that she has the blue haircut, the gradient. Normally those traits are associated with like a super goth character, but her color scheme is so bright. She loves bright colors, and that's not a dynamic that I normally really see with because I
Really?
yeah, normally when I see normally like characters with like short gradient, blue hair, they normally have like
I
dark
guess like
personality, dark colors, they're
there is
goth.
like, have you seen those like tweets or compilations of like pictures of anime or cartoon characters with like short black hair and they're Asian and they have like a colored streak or like a red streak in their
Yeah,
hair, I guess.
yeah, they
And
always
then
have that
mostly
stereotype.
like goth.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
all goth, but yours is so
Or edgy.
colorful. But then like she's not like super like but then she's not super girly. She's just like she's a valley girl. But then she's also cool. So I'm like, oh, she's versatile.
Yeah, I never thought of it like that.
So that's what I really like about you, like about Sydney, and I'm glad that I really like that like she's like your main profile everywhere else. Oh, it's just
I
really
didn't even
nice.
like mean for that to happen. I actually have a character that's supposed to be my persona. Her name is Moy. Like literally me in French is her name. But I've
Oh,
been
that's
neglecting her.
Because like normally when artists have OCs and then they draw themselves, they always draw themselves really, really like derpy or like really like it's such a their character's so
Yeah,
like colorful,
I
but
don't
then like they
really.
draw themselves super normal. I never
Yeah, I mean, do
see.
you draw yourself a lot? Because I don't really like to do like self portraits or even just drawing myself like in a goofy style, like you said. I don't even like doing that. There's something I hate about drawing myself.
I think I do it a lot more than normal because it makes me feel like a magical girl. It's the
Oh,
thing that gives me confidence. Like, oh, I can't like she could wear pink hairstyle all the time, but me, I can't do that all the time. Like with like my character, I can draw her with the most beat makeup, but then I can't do that on my face, if that makes sense. So there's
yeah.
something about living vicariously through your art.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like OCs one way or another are always self inserts or like something that you thrive to be, you know? So
and
I
also
guess every OC is yourself.
that's because like your character Sydney seems so stylish and stuff. Normally, I don't see other artists depicting themselves like that. Like other artists, they don't draw themselves too confidently. At least from what I've seen, they always it's like they always at least the artists that I've seen. I don't have any examples from the top of my head. They usually draw like art really nice, and then they draw a very comical version of themselves in the side, as a meme.
Yeah, it's always funny though.
It's always sunny. So it was nice to see another stylish art. I'm like, oh, you got taste, She seems a little bit
I
confident.
wish I had her fashion though. I'm not.
But you created
Um,
that character, so it stems from, what's good, Because a lot of, I don't know, it's just, I just,
yeah.
even though saying that, I
Okay.
did pick a lot of good outfits in my OC. That's why I really like what you
I
picked
mean,
for.
honestly, do you have a Pinterest board for her?
No, I never thought
You
about
should
those
make
things. I just have
one.
a general Pinterest board of
Like,
outfits I think are
just
cute.
you don't even have to like put anything in it right now. But at least like if you come across like a cute outfit that you would like to draw on her, or you feel like fits her vibe or style, you could just add it to there. And then all of a sudden, you have an entire like collection of pictures.
Oh, that's cool. It's like when doing this collab and doing the details on your character Sydney and all the little intricacies that she have, I didn't even think about all those things. Just makes the character really, really pop. Normally in animation, when you do character designs for them, it's usually you gotta make them as simple as possible. So like what I learned
Right,
from school
because
is less is more.
yeah,
So it was
yeah.
interesting. It was like a breath of fresh air. It's like, oh, all those things are it made me feel like a kid again when I first started to draw and I wanted to add everything into a drawing. But then you still make it look cohesive.
Thank you. So I wanted to ask you about the sketch that you did for this, since we did switch sketches, and I know like before we even started working on it, you mentioned that you wanted them to be hanging out and like kind of sitting, and so like how did you approach that?
Uh,
Or did the sketch turn out the way you wanted?
I struggle with the body a lot. My initial concept was since this is like a podcast, well, hanging out vibe, I wanted our characters to be sitting down, relaxed, and like hanging out with each other. And I was really having hard time picking the poses. I utilized the Clip Studio Paint Asset Store for the pose, and I just like I didn't alter the poses as much. I wish I did because I feel like the hands could have came out better. It could have been more expressive because it did came out a bit more stiff than I would like. But I did try to get as much of our characters like hairstyles in there, things that represent them. I focused more on that since I was having a hard time with the pose, but I just wanted it to look like, oh, our characters are hanging out
Yeah,
virtually together. And
I
I
really like
like
how it turned out.
I like how you added little emojis to it. It's really cute. I don't know if we're at this step in the video yet, but it just brightens it up. It's like, oh, so colorful.
Yeah, unfortunately, I did lose the footage of me doing the background, but while I was doing the background, I was kind of worried about like what colors I would use, but our characters ended up actually having really nice color scheme together, like the yellow and pink,
Yeah, really
and
nice symmetry.
it ended up being really nice with the emojis and stuff. And I guess what I want to ask you also is like, was it kind of like a learning experience for you? Like, do you think you learned anything from, I guess, like seeing your sketch finished by someone else? Because I did like you mentioned before, the pose was a bit stiff, or like the I did change the legs because I was struggling with like the leg positions too, so I was just like, you know what, throw the legs away, I'm gonna draw
Yeah.
the legs.
No, change
And
it
then I
up.
struggled with the hand in the back, the one that's like not in the yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I know
Yeah,
what you mean. The one that's cross-legged.
yeah, and
Yeah.
I struggled with a lot of stuff too. So yeah, like did you learn anything, or like what was kind of like interesting for you to see on like what I did to your sketch?
Well, the main thing I got really excited to see is to see you color in an anime style. That was something I've
Oh
yeah,
right.
because I know my art style is super anime, so it's super interesting to see how it would came out on yours. And I think like you made it more like cartoony, and I think it came out
Yeah,
really, really cute. It reminds me
I
of
think I
like
changed the eyes.
no, but it was really interesting to see your take on it because that's not how I would go about it. But you made it like so unique, like it pops out. I don't know how to, it reminds me of like the art styles that got me into animation early on as a kid. So it was so nice to see how you did it. It was such a breath of fresh air. Every time you would share, I was like, oh my god, oh. But I definitely want you to try it fully anime next time, though. I definitely want you to
Yeah,
see just the one dot. I know,
I
I
honestly I
know.
don't remember like the last time I've drawn like fully anime, because I mean I feel like a lot of people start out like with anime. I was like, I remember I was looking at tutorials of like anime eyes or something like that, and I went through like a lot of phases like that. But I really kind of only do that with chibis now. Um, I
Chibis are
don't
more
know.
anime-like.
I
Um,
I've always like when I was like rendering the eyes, uh I guess like I just subconsciously like turned them back into like cartoonish
no, I
instead
think it
of.
works. I think maybe one day you should do one of those style challenges where you draw characters in
Oh
different
yeah.
popular and popular show styles, like Fair Odd Parents, and then you do Dragon Ball, and then you do like maybe Sailor Moon or Super Shoujo one, because it's always really interesting to see different artists try different like replicate those styles because that was really interesting to see. It came out super cute. I'm like, oh, you know how I know for your sticker shop you've been doing a more kid core vibe. This one felt kid core mixed with teen core. I don't know. It's like
Oh
it's
yeah.
it's super
I've
pop
never
and
really heard of
colorful.
teen core actually, but that's interesting.
It kind of reminds me of like the mid 2000s animations that they would have. I don't know the name on the top of my head, but maybe I don't know if you heard of Surf's Up or 16. It kind of reminds me of
Oh, I love
16,
Surf's Up.
but with a lot more style. Because 16, they again those animations have to be
Yeah, I
super
was really
simplistic.
into 16. And it's funny now that you mentioned Surf's Up, because I watched it like 2 weeks ago. I watched it again, and it was so much funnier seeing it as an adult.
Oh man, they're
Um,
so
and
good.
I wish they still made animated movies with that type of humor.
Oh.
It was so good.
Oh
But
wait, I think I got them mixed up. Cause Surf Stops is about the penguin. I was talking about.
yeah, I was
I was
talking about the
talking.
penguins.
I was
Which
talking.
one are you talking
I was
about?
talking about when the creator's 16. They made another show that's like
Really?
16, but it's like at the beach.
What? Wait, I've never
Yeah,
heard of this.
yeah. I thought it was called Surf's Up. I think I'm close. Um. I'll have to look it up later. I don't want to take up too much
No, I
time.
was talking about the penguins.
The penguin. But
I mean,
still,
that
like,
movie's really good though. For anyone's watching, go watch it again.
because there's I brought up I guess mostly it's 16 because I forgot what the sister show to 16 was called. It's because like you have you did the lineless art for the hair, especially on Sydney's hair. That's what reminded me of that. Like in some parts, you just make the line art disappear, and I really like how you did that.
Yeah, the overpainting. Honestly, I didn't even like realize that her hair is kind of devoid of lines.
And
I guess I tend to do that with darker colors usually.
I think it makes it look really cool. And I like how you added some accessories to my character. Like I like the little
Yeah,
heart pins and the heart necklace.
when I forgot the glasses, I was like, yeah, like I need to add more things, and so I went with the clips.
Oh, no.
I just realized I forgot to put nails on her.
I was thinking
going
about
to.
that, but I was like, I didn't want to mess up nails. I never do nails in my drawing. I didn't want it to look funky.
Yeah, I only recently started drawing nails, so don't feel pressured to do them. They're really difficult.
You make them look so nice and effort. I keep thinking it's just one stroke, but then you gotta think of the shape of the nail.
Yeah, I always like bookmark other drawings of like nails that I see, so I can like look back on them and be like, oh, okay, that's how they did it.
Oh,
And like I guess we were talking about the sticker shop earlier, but so like before in a previous video I mentioned wanting to do a sticker shop, and then I just like went and did it. And so I wanted to ask you, like, what was your reason in actually just going for it and like making it and like buying the equipment and like committing to it? Because I feel like a lot of people struggle with just taking that step and being like, okay, I'm going to do this.
it's funny you asked me the question because I think you've successfully done it. I haven't opened up my shop yet.
Well, I mean, you've taken steps though. Like I know you have a sticker cutter. And
I have
some
too,
stickers,
and I've
right?
lost a lot of money.
Right, but it's like, I guess
I
what
mostly
made you
sold at conventions, anime conventions. I think when I quit my job earlier last year, and it was 6 months halfway through, and I wasn't making any money from art, and my financial aid was running out. So I was like, I need to make money ASAP. And I finally got into one of my favorite the biggest convention, the biggest anime convention. Well, it's not an anime convention. The biggest convention in Miami at the time, which is Florida SuperCon. I applied like every year before, and I got rejected. And somebody at school decided to push me to apply, and I got in, and that's when I decided to just invest a whole lot of equipment to try to make some money off my art. And if that works out, then I know I have some proof of concept from my online store, because I had my online store open before in 2020, and I tried the whole print on demand, and I made like one sale in 10 months.
I feel like you're really good at marketing though. Like, so how do you think, like, I feel like you would do really well in marketing your products, since you already market other companies' products. And I feel like it would do really well because marketing is like the backbone of a small business,
I think I just didn't understand my target audience before.
Yeah, but how do you think that, like, how confident do you feel in doing it now, knowing that this about the skills that you have?
Oh man, I feel more in honesty. I think I feel like there's a lot of sticker shops out there, and I'm still struggling with figuring out the right paper quality. I'm always fighting with my printer. I have more confidence selling anime mugs more than I do with stickers. Just because with stickers, I feel like I have a hard time. I feel like I can't compete on price, and I can't compete on skills, and I'm still trying to figure out how to ship it at a reasonable price to everyone. So I'm actually still very insecure with it. Not that insecure, but that's one area where I'm still trying to navigate. It's a little bit easier for me to sell brand stuff than my own stuff, since I do have a lot of insecurities when it comes to my own art, besides not having my own characters and just mostly doing fan arts. Because with fan art, it's like I would have to sell my stickers, I feel, at a higher price compared to, like, let's say, like, you can go on AliExpress, you can get like 10 Genshin stickers for like $2. I can't compete with that.
Oh,
But
I never thought of it that way.
yeah, that's good.
I don't look on AliExpress that much nowadays, but
So that's what
honestly, I feel like since you have the materials, right? You have some sticker paper, right?
I
That
have
you haven't,
sticker
like,
paper.
used
I have
up.
so many different
Yeah,
sticker
and
paper.
it's
They're
like
good for freebies.
you don't have to spend anything, and it's like I feel like as a small business and even just a sticker shop that's starting out, like transparency about the quality of your stuff and being a beginner and everything being homemade is really important. And most people who are looking to get stickers, they will not mind, like as long as transparency is there, you know.
Ah,
And like if you make like one sticker or even just take a one art that you have, so you don't have to draw anything new, and you turn that into a sticker and see how it goes. Literally just do like one sheet at first and see how it goes. Market it to your audience because they've already seen your character multiple times in your videos and they know her. And I'm willing to bet at least one person out there would love a sticker of your character, and you would have, even if it's just $1, you would be like $1 richer, right? And it's
yeah.
always gonna start out small.
I appreciate it. I actually, when I saw that those two conventions, I think stickers did super well. Even though my Cricut
Yeah.
wasn't working, I was cutting it by hand. I think I just have a lot of imposter syndrome. I feel like I need to sell something else, not go after a super saturated market like that.
Yeah, I'd say like try not to think about it too much. Kind of like be impulsive for like that one sticker. Just like one sticker. Because I like the way I started, my first sticker that I ever sold was very impulsive. It was like a realistic frog. It wasn't even like I didn't draw it for the intention of being a sticker. It was literally like practice. It was like a sketch, and I was just like, you know what? Like I'm sick of like thinking about this. I'm just gonna go and buy the stickers. I didn't even make them. I just like manufactured them, and then I got them. And I was just like, oh, like now I have like 100 frogs in my hand. Like, what am I gonna do with this? I have to sell this now, and so that's how that happened. Yeah.
And I think I just wasn't familiar with sticker culture. It wasn't until my friend my friend is really obsessed with stickers, and when she went to convention she was buying everyone's stickers and she would just put them on her laptop. And I don't know, and every time I get stickers I would just put them to a drawer because I would feel it was hard for me to commit for this to commit one place to put the sticker. So I
Oh
just
yeah.
didn't understand the sticker culture. My strategy for now was to target the gamer e-girl niche, because I notice a lot of the gamer e-girl, when they like something, they get everything of that character, and they tend to have a bigger budget when they spend on stuff. Because I saw this one girl that, okay, I'm going off at a tangent, but I'm gonna bring it back. I saw this one girl that was super obsessed with Anya, got everything Anya, even if it's in the same style. She has so many Anya theme everything. And I felt like if I focus on, that's why I invested a lot of money into getting sublimation equipment, which is they basically
Really t-shirts, right?
yeah, which that lets you print some
Or
t-shirts, mugs.
Yeah.
I feel like if I do that and I do that with fan art and I put those characters on things that people are not easily accessible on, because I made my heart mugs of Anya with Anya's parents, Lloyd and Yor, and they did super well at convention. Even the reels performed pretty well, which my reels don't really perform well on Instagram, and I could charge a higher premium for that, so that way I could buy back my time, because I buy back my time from only doing brand stuff with brand deals.
Yeah.
I was gonna focus on doing that so I could do higher ticket items at super fans of certain characters, so that way I can like do them for a little bit, enough to just focus on that for a couple months. Because with stickers, I don't have a full marketing strategy for them.
It's so interesting how like your mind works in like a very marketing way, because like mine is the complete opposite. I like literally don't think about that stuff. I'm just I should though. I should think about marketing more. but like I wish I could think more like you because like you're so organized and stuff. Like I thrive to be
Jeez.
like that, but every time I try I just forget about it like the next day.
I feel like when you start thinking about that, it low-key does take the fun out of the work. The reason
I guess so, yeah.
the reason I start to think this way because I tried doing art so many times as a business, and I struggled getting sales. I struggled getting attention, even though I did have an audience on YouTube all this time. I've been doing this for a long time, but since I was mostly a tech channel, nobody really like cared about my art, so it was a little bit difficult to monetize off of that early on. So it forced me to research a lot of the business aspect, and I ended up getting a job into that. So every time I think about making something, I think about the type of customer that's buying it. So that way, if I make more stuff like that, once they get on my store, they'll be obsessed with it. Um, because like if I focus on like the e-girl niche and I do like a certain I focus on a series and I put that on mugs and I put that on keychains that are not easily available, that person would like no matter how much I
Well,
price something, they'll be throwing money. I
I
wanted
guess like if you want to make this transition into people like wanting to see more of your art rather than the tech aspect of your channel, I feel like I mean this might be the opposite of like what you're literally just talked about, but I encourage you to just go for what you like to draw. Because you know, like you're thinking about it very like you're talking about niches and stuff, but I feel like we talked about the social media mindset before and how it can be a little harmful, and like you said, it takes the fun out of some stuff, and you know, you kind of have to bring the fun back into it and just go for something that you know you yourself like to draw. Like you don't even have to do it like strictly, I guess, because if you're doing it strictly then that would take the fun out of it again. But like let's say you're doing like a review video for one of your tech stuff and you have to draw something, and you could just decide to draw like whatever you want and what you enjoy drawing, instead of I guess like thinking about what people will want to see like fan art. Because like do you enjoy drawing fan art?
part of me do, since it's a way for me to have conversations with people. But I think you're right on the nail where I focus more on trying to please the algorithm. So when that doesn't work out, it ends up making me more discouraged. Regardless if I do like the fan art that I'm doing for, I mostly think about I mostly focus on pleasing the system first before trying to please myself.
Yeah, you gotta please yourself, girl. Like do some
It doesn't
personal
pay
art.
the
Like
bills though.
yeah, but your videos do, and if people can tell that you genuinely enjoy what you're drawing, I think they would be interested more in like the actual art aspect of it. That is if you want them to be, if you want to start making that transition in your YouTube or just like general art career.
I see. I'm gonna definitely give that more of a try because it's definitely
Yeah, I mean
like
you don't have to
scary.
listen
No,
to
no,
me.
it's definitely scary because I experienced a little bit of that with my vlogs, but I found that it puts a lot of pressure on me when I focus on chasing the algorithm and doing things that I've learned in school, in marketing school. It feels like, especially since I'm not super confident with myself yet as an artist, it makes me too anxious because I don't know. I'm still learning. I need to like be
Yeah,
comfortable with myself first.
it's definitely a struggle to build that confidence. Like I can say that I'm pretty confident in my art right now, but if this was like 2 years ago, nah, like I wouldn't be able to say
I
that
like
same
taking
thing.
it makes me feel it's like a difference between calculated risk versus just having fun and let it, I don't know. I get
Yeah.
too scared. I'm like, but no, but I really appreciate the advice because that is one of my bigger goals this year, just to have fun. I just want to make memes, funny memes. But like I don't know how to monetize that. No matter how much views you get from those things, those don't pay the
You know,
bills.
but it's like there's that mindset again. I guess it's like the first step is being aware of it, like self-awareness, like where you're constantly trying to monetize everything, even though you don't have to, you know. Like if you want to make memes, just make memes. You don't have to earn.
It takes so long, and then you can't turn that into a sticker. You can't turn that into a print. You can't turn that into a mug. It's just a quick video. It's not even a long YouTube video that you can milk or something.
Like whenever people ask me about like making money with a hobby, I always tell them, make sure that you have some sort of guaranteed income before you start looking into possible income. Because like the stickers thingies, I didn't know if I was gonna make income off of that, but I at least knew that I would make guaranteed income from commissions, and that I could always do that mainly while doing something else on the side. And oh my gosh, I just like didn't know where I was going with this.
No, you don't know. No, you're good. You're talking about like having fun and having like a way for you to make
because you mentioned monetizing memes, and and I feel like you have to think of it in a way where it's like, even if you don't monetize something, you're not losing out on another thing. Like you're always still gonna have your channel, you're gonna have your brand deals, and what you currently make money from now, and adding something new that you don't make money out of doesn't mean you will lose money, I guess. But I guess if you dwell on like the possibility of gaining money from it, then that's where like the overthinking gets to your brain, and you start thinking about monetizing it. But it's just a matter of like self-awareness, where you catch yourself like thinking like that again, and you're able to stop yourself.
I guess ideally, in an ideal world, I would like to believe that, but the realistic part of me believes that there's only a limited time that you have in the day, and when the main stuff that brings in money takes up a lot of time, that there's not as much free time for the fun stuff, and the fun stuff, it takes even longer. It takes forever to animate. It takes even just a couple of seconds meme. It takes a long time, and I need to. And that's when like my analytical brain comes in. I gotta find a way to make money from. I think of it with my business. I gotta find a way to make enough money from my business where I can outsource a lot of the work, so that way I can focus on.
So it's not too much on yourself. Yeah. I guess it's like less managing yourself. Because managing something else.
Because recently I finally like was able to pay like more than a couple months of rent with just my art from brand deals. But then the other problem came where it's still active work. It's not super passive.
Yeah, it's not passive.
It's not passive at all. It's like the job of 5 people, because you gotta do customer service, going back and forth with email. You gotta be your own lawyer. It's a lot of active work, and I thought that was just my threshold. But to be able to like still do the fun art that I like and I enjoy, I need to add another source of big income stream that's a little bit more consistent for me to free up my daytime, so I'm able to do those things.
And I feel like income streams is a really big topic on Instagram right now, because I forgot her name. Wait, I need to pull up her name.
Marlene Vega?
Yeah, is it? Yeah, it's her, Marlene Vega, where, like she started doing the what I make as a part-time artist every month, and then, other people started doing it, and then everyone is suddenly joining in on this and being really transparent about the streams of income that they have. And I feel like a lot of people are interested in it, and I think it's really nice to like hear like both of our perspectives and your perspective, because you have such a different like mindset and perspective than me. We almost have like polar opposite like mindsets, kind of. Like I'm just like, like
that's our persona in the poses. I used to have my horses in my version of the video where you drew it, or
and it's been about like 40 minutes or 50 minutes, I think. I think it's best to end this one now. It'll be a podcast episode. But yeah, I thought it was really fun to hear your perspective on stuff. And we kind of like almost like agreed to disagree about certain mindsets, but I think it's like important for like audience and listeners to hear those perspectives too, because like they can also agree with some stuff, they can disagree with some stuff, and maybe some of it will be changed for them and it will be for like the better for them.
Oh,
Um,
I wanted to add one more thing. It's like a slight question because other artists' income stream, when they talk about those things, for the most part, most of them, they're living at home with their parents. And I know that when you're living on your own, it's a whole different set of challenges. I was wondering, how do you manage I guess, the stress of, if you don't mind me asking, of
that was fine.
of of not living at home and doing all this art stuff and not having that fear, because you're so bold, you just jump in on stuff. But for me, when I see Uncle Sam, what's his bill, I'm like, no, I can't. I gotta play safe.
I don't know. I gotta say I really am impulsive, and I really just don't give myself a lot of time to think about stuff. But I will say that before, when I still lived with my parents, I had a lot more time on my hands. Like I was like a gamer, I was a degen, sleeping at like 6 a.m, playing Final Fantasy for like 8 hours straight. And now I don't remember last time I've touched a game and played it for more than an hour. And it's like a combination of just being bored by the games lately, and also just like I call it like an itch. There's like an itch for productivity and working that happens to me every day, basically, where my mindset has turned into, why would I work when I can play games, into being the opposite, into why would I play games if I could be making stickers instead, or recording a
It
video.
never shuts off.
And it's like crazy. And like you mentioned earlier, there's only so many hours in a day when you're trying to make money, and it's really like crazy how these days have felt like shorter and shorter because things just take so long to do.
Yeah.
And I don't know how I do it. Lately I got a new hobby, which I also did impulsively. I started bookbinding.
Oh,
And
that's good.
bookbinding
Oh man.
takes so long. Like
Mhm.
literally took me like an entire day. And I guess it being the holidays kind of reinvigorated like my self-care mode, where I can do things for myself. But
Oh, that's
now
nice.
it's reverting to
Work
like
mode.
work all the time. And then classes are gonna start in a couple weeks too, and that's gonna be insane with the addition of that. So
Oh man.
honestly, I don't really have an answer to that question, because
I think
it
we
is-
can continue it
Yeah.
in my version of the
Yeah,
the
since we'll be
video, because
talking
it's
about
about
school
school.
and
I'm a
stuff.
school vlog channel, and I would love to dive more in. 'Cause
Yeah, and she's also gonna have a video on her channel where we talk about other stuff, mainly school related stuff as an artist. So yeah, it's just me now doing my outro, and I hope you guys enjoyed listening to that. Honestly, when we first planned this collab, I was just meaning for it to be another typical draw with me, or I was talking with another person. But that was before I created the podcast, and we just ended up vibing very well together, and we talked for a really long time. You should see how long we talked in her video. But I just ended up turning it into the second episode of the podcast. But I'm thinking for a third episode, I do want to do a 2022 art summary, where I go back and just look at a bunch of pieces that I did for 2022. You know, maybe roast some that I didn't particularly like or feel like I did great on, and praise the ones that I did like, the ones that were my favorite. And so let me know if you guys are interested in that, and be sure to check out Carri's video on her channel, because it is, I think, going to be a bit longer than this one, because we do get much more in depth about talking about our experiences and perspectives of being art students. And her perspective is that of a person who went to an actual art school. Mine is a perspective of a person who goes to school and studies art, but I don't go to an art school. I just go to a normal university, and I'm self-taught at home. So if you're interested in that, please go check out Carri. And also, if you like Draw With Me, she has some great Draw With Me and content stuff and reviews. So yeah, go check her out. And once again, I hope you guys enjoyed this. All my links are down below, and yeah, I'll see you next time. Goodbye.